Superstitions, legends, and lore. Many of us can't help feeling a bit of, uneasiness when we realize that there's another Friday the 13th coming up, right? And the number 13, that is one of the most common superstitions around. It's so widespread that many tall apartment buildings, office buildings, and hotels simply omit putting a 13th floor in. Just like this one. This was the Claridge Hotel where we were just at. No 13th floor. And some airlines, they don't even have a 13th row. So, Friday the 13th. Lucky or unlucky? Well, we'll leave that up to you. But one thing is true. It's Friday the 13th, y'all.
Welcome to Smokeysteveandmarc.
I'm Mark.
I'm Steve.
And happy Friday the 13th!
Perfect weather for Friday the 13th, too. It's cool, the sky is clear, you can see the moon. There's that little bit of smell of decay in the air from the trees turning.
Yes,
it's
yes,
fall.
Very
It's definitely
true.
fall.
Oh, yes, and there is nothing better than Friday the 13th happening in October, right?
Exactly, of course.
My goodness.
Well, how appropriate.
I know, how appropriate. So we're all full of legend and superstition tonight, and we have a busy night planned too. We have a lot of fun stuff to do. We have a project to do.
And a recipe.
Do a recipe. Oh, I'm excited about the recipe.
I am too.
And of course, it's Friday, so we got some Friday night chit chat. And then, every so often, oh yes, we're gonna talk a little bit about some creepy superstitions. Well, just like this.
Many superstitious people say breaking a mirror sets you up for 7 years of bad luck. That may be because 7 years is the time it takes to replace all the cells in your physical body. How about that? In a more superstitious time, mirrors were thought to be reflections of the soul. So breaking a mirror was believed to be harmful to your soul. To end the chain of bad luck, take the broken mirror outside and bury it in the moonlight.
Well. So, what's new with y'all?
Yes, how's everybody doing? Did you have a good week?
It was a week here. No,
It was a week. You had a rough week.
Was
this
I off
week.
Monday? Was it
You
Columbus
were
Day
off
this
Monday.
week?
You
These
were.
4-day weeks, they're never easier. They just cram 5 days worth of shit into 4.
Yeah.
And then I was teaching yesterday, and I was in a very challenging mental spot to be in front of an audience for 4 hours. But
it was the entire week before.
I was like, I just
Leading
couldn't
up
get
to it.
And it's, it's a mental health kind of thing, because I'm pretty competent at my job. I get good feedback, and I usually like doing it. But the fear of doing it this 15th time was the same as the first time. My body, my brain, my stomach were all reacting like, you're going to go up there totally unprepared, talking about nothing you know anything about, and they're all going to laugh. Worse, they're all going to turn their heads and go. So,
And the fact he had to do this presentation, this teaching thing for his peers.
yeah, it's all the people I work with.
Yeah.
And a handful of bosses here and there. So it's half. It's an 8-hour training. I did 4 Thursday. We're going to do 4 next week. And I have a helper. I have another facilitator with me. So, but it's her first time doing it.
It was rough for him. I mean, there's only so many times you can say you know what you're doing. You're good. You actually are in control in this situation. You are. But, when it comes to a mental health issue,
It doesn't
That
respond to
stuff doesn't
logic
respond, yeah.
necessarily.
Right.
I'm like, I know I'm good at it.
Right.
I've been recertified I don't know how many times.
Right.
But just my feelings were not lining up with reality.
So most
Really.
importantly,
Mm-hmm.
how'd it turn out?
It went fine. I'll see them all next week.
Yeah.
It went okay. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
all that's going on at work. Rough week. Glad it's over. How about you?
Yeah, work was okay for me this week. It wasn't really crazy. It's been very busy at work, and this is a busy time of year in general, I think, for me, with work and with stuff, with stuff here on the channel too, because I'm trying to plan some nice stuff up for the next 3 weeks, and so I'm always concerned. I feel like I'm going from one thing to another, to another, to another, to another,
Mm-hmm.
and I do usually like doing that. I like to multitask, and I like to do stuff like that, but you can get very easily behind,
Yeah.
and then very easily it feels like you're always one step behind, and
Yeah.
I don't like that feeling, because then next becomes, I'm overwhelmed, I'm going crazy.
Followed by epic who cares.
Yes, right?
Followed by
we don't want to do that.
Glorious apathy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we have a lot of fun stuff planned coming up, and before I forget, I wanted to say thank you 2 different times. The first thank you is for anniversary cards.
Oh my god.
We got a few anniversary.
Yeah.
I went and picked it, and I opened it up, and I'm like, oh, it's an anniversary card. It said so early.
I know, I'm like, it's only been 6 months.
I
Our
know.
anniversary's in like a week and a half.
It's a week away, y'all. I know. It went so
That
fast.
was very fast.
It's
It
our
felt like
1-year
weeks.
anniversary on the 22nd.
So much shit happened in between then and
It
now. It just
certainly
feels
did.
like well, that's probably why it flew.
Yeah, that's why
You know,
it flew.
we were
It
just
did.
busy and involved in other areas of life
Yeah.
for the time being. So
So thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much. What we're going to do is open them up actually next Sunday. Not this Sunday coming up, but on the 22nd.
Which
Happens
is
to be a
our
Sunday.
anniversary.
So we're going to have an anniversary party during our live stream. I mean, you guys are all at the wedding. We might as well do an
Might as well be-
anniversary
might as
party,
well be
right?
here, yeah.
And we couldn't think of anything better to do than to tie it in with our live jack-o'-lantern carving.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be a live jack-o'-lantern carving anniversary party.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be fun.
Put all that into a title.
Uh-huh.
So-
So make sure you grab your pumpkins this week and carve along with us. It's become a yearly tradition.
Get that little thing, you use it twice a year. It's this big, it's got the not sharp teeth on it, and it's got a pumpkin on the handle, and you use that.
I picked it.
I don't use a knife.
I got a brand new one this year.
I don't trust
did.
me with knives. It's not safe. So for me, it's right there. Perfect. So make sure you have a pumpkin you can carve or paint.
Yeah,
If you don't want to pierce the skin or eat
they
it
have those
later.
things or decals or whatever, you know.
Diamond painting. Could you diamond paint a pumpkin?
Oh no, I'm not into diamond painting.
How long would it take to cover an entire pumpkin?
Entire pumpkin? I have no. We have some diamond painters out there. Is anybody covering an entire pumpkin? Let us know.
You don't have to try it, but give me an estimate of what you
Oh,
would
it
think.
would look beautiful, wouldn't it?
I'm sure it would. Yeah.
Well, I can't imagine how much time that would take.
I know, and it's still a pumpkin underneath, so
Yeah.
it's not gonna forever.
So that's the 22nd, okay? And secondly, I also wanted to thank you. I've been so busy, I hadn't had time to look at the comments. I mean, Steven really keeps up on that, but so I went back over the last couple of days, and thank you for the compliments on our set this year. I really appreciate that. In particular, our appleheads, our shrunken appleheads. Y'all noticed it. It was so cool, and some people want to know how to make it.
Of course.
We just happened to, be planning a DIY for it. So that's our project for today. We're going to go out into the kitchen. We're going to make some shrunken appleheads for Halloween. Oh, so does anybody remember the Shrunken Applehead kit from Vincent Price in the 70s? Oh, it was so cool. It had carving tools in it, some twine if you wanted to hang them up, templates, and even a drying chamber that you could attach to any household lamp. It was so, so awesome. And I couldn't resist making this creepy craft myself. And that's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna make some shrunken apple heads. And it turns out, oh yeah, Shrunken appleheads have their own set of superstitions and legends, but rather than the shrunken applehead, it was shrunken applehead dolls. Now, this concept and this practice was first started by the Seneca Indians centuries ago, and then years later it was adopted by the Appalachian mountaineers, who still do this craft today for the area's cottage industry. And it's said that if you carry one on you or hang one in your home, it's thought to be good luck and provide some protection from malevolent spirits. Oh yes. Now today, this practice, oh my gosh, it has become a family Halloween fun activity to do. So let's get started, shall we? The first thing we need are apples, of course, and any apple will do. And then we want to peel them up just like this. And then it's time to carve our creepy faces. So using a sharp paring knife, or you could even use your peeler, we're just gonna kind of, scoop out eye sockets and a nose and maybe a slit for the mouth. I'm gonna give this guy some hair, and I'm just like using my knife to just like, give some slits in there, and I think it will it'll make hair. I think it looks so cool. Okay, all right. Well, there's an example of one for you there. And when we peeled our apples, we did leave a little bit of the peel on the top and on the bottom there, just like that. And the next step, we're going to either soak them or brush them with a solution of lemon juice, salt, and water. Now this solution actually does two things. One, it'll keep your apples from turning like really, really brown, but it also really helps with preserving them as well. And just let them hang out for a couple minutes, while you're carving your other apples out. And here's one here. I left the peel on. Oh, it's gonna look so cool. Now if you're gonna leave the peel on, you're gonna wanna take your paring knife and do some slits around all around it there. It'll help with the dehydrating process, okay? All right, there we go. So now, after we have soaked our apple heads, we're gonna dry them off, as best as we can with some paper towels, just to get that excess liquid off of there. And it's time to dehydrate. So we're gonna do ours right in the oven. So we're gonna place our carved out apple heads on a piece of parchment paper on a rack like that. And here, we'll put him in there too. And we're gonna put him in a 175-degree oven for anywhere from 3 hours all the way up to 24 hours. And that, of course, depends on the size of your apples. So let me get these babies in here, and we'll be back once they're all shriveled and creepy looking. Creepy shrunken apple heads. Here's the one he had the peel on him. Look at him. And the one with the hair, the creepy faces. Oh, they're so creepy. All right. So now, oh yes, we decorate them up. And for that, I just have a collection of, I have some black paint, and for eyes, we have some cloves and allspice. That'll make a nice eyeball. Some candy here, or some hard candy. Even we have some regular eyeballs like that too. That'll work too. Twine for hanging, or skewers if you want to skewer them. This twine here could also be used for hair. And spider webs. Oh yeah, for like clothing or hair too. So why don't we get to decorating? Okay, there's our little skeleton. I carved him in like this to kind of make him look like a skeleton. And then these ones, I decided to put on skewers like this. And here they are. Add our little skeleton to there. Hope you fit. You do fit. And this is the spider web hair of that one there. And this is the one that we left the peel on. And those are cloves for eyes. So those are our skewers. And of course, the ones on ribbon too. And look at him. This was just some scrap, creepy fabric, and these are candy for the eyes there. I hot glued in, as well as those eyes. Here's another one that I have to peel on, and then I did some hair on this creepy guy here with jute twine. So there they are. I love this. This project is so much fun, yo. You could even turn the little small ones, like use crab apples. You can even turn those into keychains. So cool. And there you have it. Our rather creepy shrunken appleheads.
They're cool.
They are cool.
They're cool.
It's a fun activity to do. And the first time I ever did it, this was years and years and years ago. And I was in summer camp. And it was a 2-week summer camp. And they were teaching us or doing an activity or something about Native Americans. And that was the craft project we did.
Oh.
We went out and gathered crab apples. And we carved them up. And then we just hung them. It wasn't an oven. They had like this closet or something that we hung them in, and it took well over a week for them to shrivel up and get like that. And then they turned them into keychains, and we hung them from like our shorts and stuff.
That's fantastic.
It was a cute project to do, and then like I made it with my grandmother years later. But it's a really fun Halloween project.
I had never heard of it or thought of it at all.
Never really?
No. Not once. I've led a sheltered life when it comes to crafting DIYs.
But you never saw or heard of a shrunken applehead?
That it was an apple? No, I've seen little shrunken head things.
Oh,
Out of
okay.
styrofoam, maybe I've seen them before, but not out of an apple, and certainly not. Well, it's worth the work.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, they look good. They're pretty
So-
cool. And they will last. That salt, lemon, water solution does preserve them a little bit. If you didn't get them quite thoroughly dried out and you see maybe a little bit of mold forming on it, just take a Q-tip and either use rubbing alcohol or a little bit of bleach water. Just tap it off there and you'll be good to go.
That's another hint I didn't know either.
Yeah,
So that whatever it is doesn't spread.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right,
so
exactly.
That's good.
Yeah, because then if it keeps getting mold, they'll just like rot. You don't want
from
that
the
to
inside out,
happen.
it'll just.
And you could always pop them back in a very low oven to redo it. Like you do sometimes with your dehydrating.
Yeah, sometimes the stuff needs a little bit more, or it needs to be like.
Yeah.
More you need the higher temperature to do it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Definitely for that kind of thing.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, I like them.
Oh, cool. Good. I like them too.
They're unsettling. That's
I
perfect.
like the hanging ones, and I like them both. I don't really know how to make a doll. I know you make a wire frame, and then you could. But I
You see
really
how the
wanna make
eyes
dolls.
kind of follow you?
Yeah, I know, right?
Creepy.
And speaking of shrunken apple heads, we happen to have a recipe. Oh yeah, this is gonna be totally creepy and totally delicious. We're both gonna go into the kitchen and make a shrunken apple head galette. Oh, this superstition is going to be a hard one for cat lovers to swallow, of course. Now, black cats have been long associated with superstitions. In the Middle Ages, it was thought that witches kept black cats as companions. And in fact, these cats could turn into witches themselves, or even demons. And powerful men like Hitler and Napoleon, well, they may have been prepared to conquer nations, but both were terrified of a black cat. And it's not just black cats that have their own superstitions. Cats in general do too. And one very common superstition about all types of cats is that they crawl onto your chest while you're sleeping at night and suck the life force out of you. So this Friday the 13th, be sure to give your fur baby a little hug, okay? Very, very carefully. Ooh, we're gonna make a shrunken apple head galette, taking galettes to the next creepy level, just perfect for spooky season.
And the magic happens when we shrink the apples in the oven.
Oh yes, they become delightfully creepy looking and so delicious too, because an apple pie kind of like goo forms underneath. It's so good. All right, yeah, let's get started, okay?
Okay. Alright, so let's talk crust. Now you will need a pie crust for this recipe. Over here, I have store-bought. You can make your own if you're a diehard, go ahead. And this is on parchment paper, rolled out to about a 10 to 12 inch circle.
Okay, now it's on to making our apple faces. So you're gonna need about, we'll say 3 to 4 small apples like this. I do prefer to use Granny Smith apples for, well, any kind of apple baking, you know. And the first thing I did was I peeled them, and then I cut them in half, and then I scooped out all the seeds and, you know, the inside there, cored them out a little bit there. And now it's time to carve in our creepy faces. And just using a sharp paring knife, I'm just gonna cut eye sockets out, and cut a little slit for the nose, and cut a little mouth out too.
Alright, so now while Mark is playing with apples, we're going to go ahead with the filling. So what we have here again is our crust all pressed out. It's about 10 to 12 inches across. We're going to take our brown sugar, it's a 1/4 cup brown sugar, light or dark, don't matter. And we want to sprinkle it, but we want to leave an edge of about 2 inches or so. And do it evenly. This has very few ingredients, so it's important that they're done simply and they're done right. So, all right. Good. Okay. Next, we have 2 tablespoons of cinnamon and sugar. Mine was just a couple, like a tablespoon and a half of white sugar and then a big dash of cinnamon, whatever you like. We're going to go over the top, again, staying about couple inches away from the rim. So I'll do the rim first. And then we'll go inside. All right, now we have 3 tablespoons of butter, cold, that we've cubed up and left in the fridge. And we're just gonna dot the top with those. Butter, sugar, cinnamon. What could go wrong?
There we go. Our apples are ready. And then we're going to brush them with some lemon juice. Oh, and next it's time to place our apples. So every so often you're just going to place one of your creepy little apple heads here. Ooh, here, one in the center, of course. We'll have them facing all, different. Okay, we need one right there. And then after that, we're going to brush it with, about 3 tablespoons of pure maple syrup and give them each a generous little brushing.
Very nice. So now we're just going to turn up our crust all the way around. This is meant to be kind of rustic, so just grab it and pull it in a little bit. Just a little bit up. We want the brown sugar to kind of be at the corner of it. So work your way around. This is going to help catch all that delicious butter, sugar, cinnamon, maple goop, which I much prefer to dinner sometimes myself.
And next, we are going to brush the rim of our galette with an egg wash, and that's just 1 egg with about 2 tablespoons of water, all whisked together. And then, oh yeah, sprinkle with some coarse sugar. Oh yeah, this is going to be creepily wonderful.
There you have it. Okay, so we're going to put this in a preheated 375 degree oven for 45 to 55 minutes.
Oh yes, or until all of your apple heads are all shrunken and creepy looking, and the goo is nice and bubbly, and your crust is a golden brown. You look good. How creepy. Ooh. Ooh, I like the way it looks. Oh, very cool. Okay, so if you find that your crust is getting a little too dark, just put some aluminum strips around it. When you notice it's getting pretty dark there, and you'll be just fine. Oh my gosh, serve this up with some vanilla ice cream, or how about some whipped topping with some cinnamon in it? Oh, this is totally delicious. In fact, if you make this on Halloween night, you may just forget all about that candy. And there you have it, our shrunken applehead galette.
For most of human history, salt has been very valuable, and in some places and times it was worth its weight in gold. One common superstition held is it could purify the soul and ward off evil spirits. So when you spill any amount of salt, you ought to take a pinch and toss it over your left shoulder. By doing this, the superstition says you drive away any evil spirits attracted to the spill who may want to cause misfortune for the unlucky spiller. Well, that's kind of spooky.
Oh my gosh, you guys.
This is very good.
It's
Very good.
It's good. It's like an apple pie, but
Yeah.
like that's a little better. I mean, it's very good.
a little
very
fancier. It's got definitely like brown sugary taste to it, the cinnamon,
Mhm.
all the
Oh,
good
yeah.
stuff, all the magic dust.
I mean, we made this yesterday, and last night for dessert, I had it with ice cream. It was
good.
so good. Sprinkled some cinnamon.
Mm-hmm.
Some notes about the recipe. So I would, the next time I made it, I would add maybe another apple or two to it. So you'd have like 2 or 4 more to put in there to make it a little more full. I think that would definitely add more apples. And then I would also bake it probably about 5 minutes less. Ours is a little overdone. We do like it crispy, but
you don't want to
But you don't. Yeah, you don't want it overdone. So probably the bake time, and I did adjust it on the recipe, the one that was printed there. So it'd be like 40 to 50 minutes instead of 45 to 55 minutes, and it'll be good to go.
And well worth the work.
It is. It's good. That filling, it just turns so gooey and like
it's like gooey and sugary and mapley from
maple
the apples. And, it's
very
just
good.
very
Ooh, what a
tasty.
cool recipe. Oh gosh, if you guys make these, you have to send pictures.
Do send a picture of the apples,
Yes.
the whole thing.
All of it, yeah, definitely, because this is like one of my favorite
I know it's always
projects
cool
and
to see.
recipes. So
Yeah.
definitely.
Well, is that all she ate?
That's all.
That's all she wrote. Maybe we'll have to watch
Yeah.
something like Friday the 13th.
Right, I think we may have
We
to.
may.
That's what's on the schedule tonight, y'all. We're gonna be watching Friday the 13th
Sounds
in
good.
honor of Friday the 13th.
Hopefully you're seeing this on
Friday the 13th. It all depends on how late it gets. You know,
So
we
if
put
it's
ours out late.
2 a.m. on the 14th, don't be mean. Well, thank you all for being here for the Shrunken Appleheads. I mean, it's so cute. So cute. Such a holiday thing. So thank you for joining. Do take pictures of your own if you make them. And thanks for watching. Bandit thanks you as well. He's
Does.
ride or die.
Right here.
So please do subscribe, notification bell, you get alerts when we have new videos and go live. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, X. Email address, contact info is all below as well. Thank you, and I will catch up with you tomorrow for one Miss Foodie Beauty, as if that's not spooky enough.
Frightening.
She resembled Satan this week. That's scary.
That's definitely scary.
But we'll catch up tomorrow.
yes, we
I'm not feeling
will.
as charitable as usual, so.
And then we will be seeing you on Sunday for our regular live stream. And remember to grab your pumpkins this week so you can join us next Sunday for our jack-o'-lantern carving live stream, which just happens to also be our anniversary. Thank you again, everybody. Stay spooky and have a fantastic weekend. We'll see you next time. Bye.